leaving me hang out here. What do you want to talk about? Nothing until I sit down here today.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I just figured we'd show up and they would do something. They would have something to say. I can feel
Okay.
our Andrew coming around now.
I
So
am
is it my turn now?
tingling.
Have you two women shut up?
No, I am I'm tingling from head to toe. And here's how I figured it out because our good old friend Eric Medhus, and he gets it all in my face, and he's like, and then I see the air guitar going, and he's doing like this, and I'm like, is this what music? Okay, we can do
Music, that's right.
music.
That's what yeah,
Andy
yeah.
looks at me and he goes, we didn't like the same kind of music when I was here, that's for sure. And I hear more of a pub type of music for Andy, right? But
Andy's a punk rock. He was a punk rocker in the 70s, but he liked everything. He liked all kinds of music. But yeah, he was definitely into punk rock big time. The Sex Pistols.
right? Well, so when I'm talking about this, I'm like, well, okay, that's kind of a broad topic. So I suppose you'll just guide us when we get there. So all of a sudden, Allison, coming into my field, it's like a whole group, and the song up by the Righteous Brothers. There's got to be a rock and roll heaven.
Right. Yep.
Jimi Hendrix.
I can't. It's really weird. As I started to feel our Andrew come, I kind of felt a crowd come in myself. I'm like, I don't
Yep.
know who they are yet, but I'm sure they will reveal
I've
themselves.
had such a crazy wide range of music here. So I think what they want to talk about is what their music not only meant to them and how they got there, but what it now they can see it motivated in people. So one of my favorites is Barry White. He had that really
I love.
low voice. Oh my gosh. And he's here, and it's just
I
such
love
a,
Barry White.
a wide range. And good old Sid Vicious is sitting there back. So
Yeah.
there's just a ton of people.
Right. Okay. So what direction are we going to go? You know what I'm getting from our Andrew is to talk about the screaming music, because one of the things that happens when it's on near me for a prolonged period is I feel like I'm regressing. Like my forehead literally comes down over and I get a headache.
Yes.
I can't handle it, so I have to get away from that music, where the singer just screams and screams and screams. So
Yeah.
our Andrew said that's one of the areas that we should be discussing because of
Let's
how powerfully negative it is.
let's talk about it. And I can tell you that I read Deepak Chopra's book called Super Brain, and one of the studies in there was the effects of heavy metal, rock, screaming music on the brain as compared to classical music. And you're absolutely correct. What the study showed is that the brain cells shut down and deteriorated and pulled back while exposed to all the input. Yet the brain on classical music or some kind of calming music encouraged it to actually make more neuropathways and
Right.
grow and be peaceful. So it's scientifically proven what you're talking about. And so Eric's saying, yeah, Allie, let's go. And what I think they want to talk about is the people that listen to that on a continued basis, right? Why?
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
does the same thing for me. I cannot do it. I'm not
Yeah.
downing anything. It's just that it makes my toes tap and I can't think, and it makes me upset, and I'm nervous, and
Agitated, anxious.
yes,
It
agitated's a very
puts
good word for it.
it puts me. I think besides the regressing, I literally feel like I'm regressing. My eyebrows get very heavy. I'm waiting for the monobrow to appear.
Oh.
And um, Andy said that, right, there's two aspects of this to talk about. One is the actual direct effects of that kind of music, and then so like the physical element of that, the physical vibration that is physically affecting the brain. That's what you've just described,
Hmm.
basically. But the other effect is one that you can control. Well, he said you can control that one by just not listening to it. But the other effect is what kind of thoughts it conjures up in your brain. That's what you have the control over. But if you give yourself over, he says, to that kind of music, then it's very hard to get away from the low vibrational thoughts that go with that actual physical. He said it's actually a physical assault on soft tissue.
It sure feels like that when it's happening around me. I can be honest with you, and I have so many people here that want to talk about that exact thing. And first of all, Eric wants to talk about what it meant for him. He did like Metallica and lots of metal, but what he's saying, for him, it was a way to shut the voices and the noise down in his head. He could drown out everything, right, all the bad thoughts and feelings with that music. And that's what he used to calm himself, so to speak. You know, so that was his intent, was to try and ground himself away from the crazy thoughts he just said, right? Yeah. And then we.
But Metallica's not really. It's not really the kind. It's not really that kind of music, though, is it? I mean, it's got the rhythm. I quite like Metallica.
Yeah, he says rock on, Allie. But he says I did like them, but I did listen to what you're talking about. I listened to everything. And when I couldn't ground, I couldn't focus. That's because of the thoughts, they were driving me crazy. Why couldn't I be like everybody else? I couldn't go bang my head on the wall. My mother would have taken me to the psych ward if I had gone and banged my head in the wall for as many times as I couldn't process so much. So he says, so that's one aspect of it. He says, there can be so many. And I have so many people here, and they're pulling me over here. And I have to tell you who stepped in was Kurt Cobain.
Oh, interesting, because I think he was on the cusp of the screaming stuff. It sort of, his band sort of opened the door for that to come in. Bad boy, Kurt.
Well, you know what? He said, thank you very much. It's quite a compliment.
You're welcome, Kurt.
And he is such a peaceful energy now, but he said, Kurt has kissed me on the lips before, and how he got my attention was he kissed my ear.
Oh.
And for me, it's like, hello? So, Thank you, dear. He said for him, and he understands that's what it did for Eric, and they've had this talk about it before. He said, but for him, his angst, his anger, his unable to process anything he channeled that through the music. But the problem with that, he said, is as you were speaking, he couldn't get out of that lower vibration once he was in it. His dark songs, his dark thoughts, and while he channeled and he used that to exercise and write and just, sing his heart out, he couldn't get out of the vibration. He said, I always felt like I was in that lower, always sad, always not being able to feel at one with myself.
That's interesting. But it didn't stop him from creating. It was actually his source of creation. That was where he was creating from.
He said catalyst.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He said yes, absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've got Jimi Hendrix here.
Man, oh man, oh man.
This might be the first time I've met him, I'm not sure. But anyway, he's pretty sexy.
He's damn sexy. I'm a fan of his talent. Yeah. And let's ask him why
I'm actually laughing. I'm just sorry, a little giggle with him because I bought an album of his years ago. I was 17, 18. I bought this album, and on side B, and we're talking, full 12-inch albums. Like, All it was through the whole thing was "fuck him in the ass." That was the lyrics. They were so stoned. There was no, there was no whoever else was on the record with him, and it was a live performance. They just recorded it, and their whole thing, and they could not stop giggling every time they sung those. They were giggling, right? And he just reminded me of that. It's like
What drugs was he doing when that performance happened?
fucking everything. Crystally stuff. It shows me crystal, but it looks like a large crystal.
Like cocaine.
Cocaine. I think it was cocaine, but there might have been some other things woven into that as well. He said the English equivalent would be what they call soap bar,
Oh,
right?
right.
She's got everything in it. My husband described that to me. I'm like, you fucking kidding? People actually take that stuff seriously. Well, he said that what they were doing was basically the same thing, but with different concoctions of drugs.
Yeah. Amazing what
And
people do to get away from what they feel, huh?
yeah, absolutely. You're like, how high can we get? What can we do to get
Get
ourselves
away from Earth.
as far away from? Why is that? He said because that inherently we are freedom. We are the personification of freedom, and when we put ourselves into a human body, that freedom becomes capped. So the inherent feeling within us is to get it back, get that freedom
Get
back,
rid of it.
right? So, and deal with the shitty emotions, right? So he says it's just one way to do it. It's not the best way to do it. Kind of cuts your life out a bit short, but he's a powerful energy as he's
Yeah.
coming in, and really joyful as well.
It was a wild ride for him, for sure. So I have to ask him a question. Oh my gosh. I am in awe of the talent that was Jimi Hendrix when he was here. That Jimi Hendrix, you are the ultimate guitar player. And I know that you taught yourself and that came naturally. How?
I'm getting this awful vibration through my teeth.
It's in my knees, Allie, all the way down to my toes. I know exactly what you mean. It's like you're sitting on
Yeah.
a speaker, like right, and they're playing.
What I'm getting is strings,
Oh,
guitar strings in
oh,
my
I see.
teeth.
Oh,
And it's
ow.
awful. It's awful. Thanks, Jimmy. Um,
Well, I'm a
he,
person
he,
that has zero musical inclinations here on Earth. Um, is
he
there any
said,
trick that I can do or use, or will you come and trans channel through me while I learn?
right, okay. Well,
He's like,
first
no,
of all,
you're
he's not going to
hopeless.
do the dirty work for you, but he will help you. Um, you'll have to get calluses. If you're serious, you'll have to get calluses on one hand, and you'll have to get fingernails sorted on the other hand, right? And that's your first job.
Okay.
Lesson one: toughen up those fingers. He said.
Okay, I can do it.
My fingertips are tingling. These
Yep.
fingertips are tingling, all of them, and those two
Two.
mainly on this hand. Yeah.
Yep.
But he'd be happy to teach you how to do it. He said, it. You have to tap into the energy streams that will. He said it's like tuning in a radio station. Tune into that radio station that's going to give you the vibration that you need to learn to play an instrument.
So I will
He's
channel while I learn.
Yeah, he said,
Okay.
well, you know what? That's what most people do when they teach themselves. They're actually channeling from them. So they're using the tools around them, but they're getting the instruction. They just don't know it. Most people get an
Gotcha.
instruction from above, right?
All
So,
right. Well,
uh,
thank you for that, Jimmy, because I feel very honored.
yeah, he's happy to work with you. He said you'll probably learn faster when you've got direct connection with somebody,
Hmm.
right? But there's no reason why you can't just channel it through your higher self. But
All right.
he's happy. He's happy to do it. Yeah.
I'm ready. I'm going to do it.
He said don't let Eric teach you. He was shy.
Eric looked at at me and he's like, "Oh no, he didn't," and he's laughing now. And Eric's just kind of here watching everybody, and you're all pink. I get it. He's such a strong energy, and
Yeah,
yeah,
it's rising up. Yeah, it's
yep.
right. Yeah, that's
I'm
definitely him.
vibrating from my
I
feet
I
up.
get
It's
hot
the
flushes when I
craziest.
channel. Not always, but just depends on them. Yeah.
So like I said a little earlier, I had Barry White
Right.
with me, and
My favorite is "You'll Never Find."
he said thank. He puts his head down. He says, "Thank you, ma'am. I'm honored." That was one of my most treasured songs, and I hear him in that deep sexy voice, and I feel like I'm sitting in a black leather or black velvet chair, and like, just like the smoothest thing. He has got like this smooth energy. when I was a kid in Philadelphia, they would have a program after 10 o'clock on the radio, and it would be called Night Moves. And
Right.
they would play Barry White all night long. And it was a
What a
Saturday night, so he just looked at me. He says, "People were getting down to me all over the country on Saturday night with that program. That was a national broadcast. My music inspired many babies."
I'm just gonna say babies.
Yep, that's what he said. Well, Allie, that's pretty interesting aspect is what he's given, and what he's kind of saying is so, not just that crazy energy we're just talking about. Each and every kind of music um, has its vibration for its own creation. Babies,
Yeah.
grounding, being at one with yourself, learning the lesson as Kurt did, or maybe not, whatever it was. But
Well, I mean, I guess it's cathartic for guys like Kurt. That's what keeps them sort of sane for until they've had enough and he wigged out, right? Which is fair, fair enough.
right, he
But
he laughed, by the way, when you said wigged out. He says, "Yeah, pretty much, pretty much." Oh,
oh my goodness, right? I felt the emotion from Barry when we were talking about that song. That's why my eyes are all watering. And
yeah.
yeah,
Oh, he just gave us a big hug.
oh,
Yeah, he's sweet.
he what?
He's very sweet, like, and
Yeah,
polite.
they all are.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they all are
they will.
sweet. He's gentlemanly. Maybe that's the word I'm looking for.
Yeah, I can see a blonde rocker around you, a blonde guy. He's got like really long white hair, big 70s platform shoes, but I
Hold
don't
on.
know his name.
I'll tell you in just a second.
Right. He just
Quiet.
kind of came forward big time, like
High
as large
five.
as life. I'm here.
Quiet. His Quiet Riot.
Right.
It was the Quiet Riot was the group,
Right.
and his name is DuBrow, the last name. And for the life of me, I can't remember his first name. I'm sorry. I don't know why I want to call him a J name, but
I'll go and look for it. Quiet Riot.
yeah, DuBrow is his last name. Um, mm, I think this is him. Hold on. There's
This
so
is him,
many.
Kevin DuBrow.
Kevin DuBrow.
That I can see. I'm seeing a picture of this is him, and he's big, lots of hair. It's like unruly hair.
Yeah.
He's got a few different pictures of him.
Yes, he
It's,
had quite a lot of looks, and he's the typical rocker. Gosh, he's
yeah,
electric. His energy is electric. Like I'm
yeah,
lit up
yeah. He's got sort of. He goes from dark
to
to
the
light.
light.
He's got a
Yep.
Rod Stewart haircut there for a while, but he came in for me with the blonde. So I've got the blonde version of him. I didn't know who he was, but yeah, he's a big persona. Has he just recently crossed? Has
Oh
he?
no, it's been a while for him.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
All
it's
right.
been a while for him. um,
Well, what's his story? What's he hanging out with us for?
that's what I'm kind of asking. I'm like, hey, what's up? And he just comes forward and he goes, I'm here to represent rock and roll, baby! Yeah! Woo!
I'm kind of getting a. I don't really know much about Quiet Riot, but I'm getting a Twisted Sister kind of personality from this
Yes,
guy.
absolutely. That was definitely the frame,
Yeah,
the time frame. And
right.
yeah, I don't know. He's just kind of hanging out. And so he just, he's saying, man, I really like to get high, right?
What kind of high? Drug high,
Drug
music
high.
high? Because like when they play on stage, that gets without drugs, that gets them high as well,
He,
doesn't it? I know we. Yeah.
he just pointed on his nose like, bingo, you got it. He says that it was both the music and the drug high.
Right.
And he's just talking about how life on the road is really hard, and um,
Mm.
you always look for excuses when you're an addict to use and to be away and to live that lifestyle. Um,
On the road, he got lonely. I'm totally getting this big old empty loneliness as he's traveling down the road.
yeah,
Separation, emotional. He had some fairly big emotional problems that he was hiding from the world, didn't he? Yeah.
he certainly did, and he's real serious now. And he says, I never wanted to get to the root of those emotional problems because they hurt too much, and the drugs just got me higher and higher, and then I just couldn't get any higher because I was in heaven.
That's as high as you can get. Yeah.
Oh, he's so funny.
Yeah.
That,
I
I'll
miss
give him a
you.
high five. That was
Yeah.
good.
It's really funny. I'm picking up his emotional side like that. Like I just got, as you were talking, my tummy just got really empty. Like there was the loneliness in there. So he suffered around the solar plexus area more than the heart chakra. That's where it was for him. Mm.
Oh, yeah, he says, I loved everybody. That
Yeah.
really wasn't my problem. My problem was as a kid, I never felt like I could please anybody. I couldn't please my mom, my dad, my brothers. I just always felt like I needed to please somebody.
His
And
mom was a problem, weren't she? That's what I've been getting. She was one of the problems. I feel like she didn't really connect to him, right? You know that if you don't get that connection with your mother at birth, it's
right.
never, it never comes
And
up.
he said she tried.
Yeah, yeah.
He said she really tried, and that was kind of what we, of course, contracted here to do. But that was a lot of it. And you're right, Allie, because the solar plexus chakra is your confidence center, and I didn't have any. I put on a good show, though. I was
Oh
a good
yeah, I
showman.
imagine. Well, you have to, yeah, to be a rock star, don't you? Put on. But actually, that charged him up, didn't it? That was where he got his energy from through those performances.
He goes
Yeah.
like this. He goes, it was fucking amazing. You stand back there and you pull that curtain aside and you see fucking tens of thousands of people with their lighters on, all those lights, and they're going, quiet, riot, quiet, riot. That's mind blowing. It just sends electric through your body and you run out there and you channel.
Yeah. Yeah, that's yeah. If, people need to understand that. I mean, when I go into a channel, I've sort of compared it and watched how people who are good at music and all kinds of things, and I look at them, I go, they're channeling
Channeling.
that. They're letting this flow in through, through the highest. So it's not. It's of course it's their own physical talent as well,
Oh,
but they're
absolutely.
letting that music flow through them.
They're not
So yeah.
fighting it. And, I agree. And Chris Cornell, who is here as well. And, I don't, sorry guys, hold your ears. I didn't know who they were because I didn't listen to their music. Okay, you can unplug your ears now.
Yeah, I'm not. They those that's not my kind of music either, but I still respect,
Oh,
the talent.
absolutely.
Yeah,
But when I did the interview with Chris is when I realized, because I ask everybody what song represented you. What do you want me? And the song he gave, of course, I watched and I listened to it. And at the very moment I watched him, the very second, I knew he was channeling, because not only does he play, and the guitar and and the voice just is amazing. And
yeah.
you're welcome.
It's like an active meditative zone that they get themselves into. I think I'm trying to describe it in words.
Um, they're all shaking their head and they're saying that it's very accurate
Right.
description of that. But and Chris, it's kind of odd, and he just wanted to talk about, he was part of the ones that couldn't climb out of the depression.
Right.
And as much as he tried to exercise that from his soul by writing, um, he had chemical imbalances in his body aside from the drug issues,
Right.
right?
Okay.
And he goes, "It is what it is. That's what I signed on for."
Right.
But you're absolutely right. You get just stuck in that lower energy, and the music, rather than being happy like Pharrell, it drags you down.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting though, how so many people, young males probably more so, are attracted to this type of energy. Right. Just ask either Kurt or the other
Chris,
fella. Forgotten his. Yeah.
Chris.
Ask them if this is like for the audience watching. Is this like a way for them to channel their aggression? That they've got, their not necessarily aggression, but their frustrations, their life's frustrations, their heartaches and all. Is this a way for them to release that for themselves, so that actually they're raising their vibration by being there and doing that activity?
They said, that that's a very good point, but it's all according to how the individual perceives that which is coming in, that information which is coming in,
Right.
and it's so individual to your experience and what you've chosen here. Um, you know, Humans, even though we're all one and we're all the same, we come here for this individual experience. Right. So this is what we came here for. It's going to mean one thing to one person and one thing to another. But yes, we're going to sit here and tell you, channel that the fuck out, man. Sing it, get down, rock it out, whatever it
Abs-
is.
Absolutely.
Fuck
I'm
yeah.
just
But then
this.
feel the release. You can't stick there. You can't live there. You can't stay in that anger state. That channel is a way to exercise this and move on and move forward.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. I know our Andrew and I did answered a question on music. Somebody asked about punk rock and sort of similar stuff to what we're talking about today, and he said, our Andrew said, because the person asked how music affects them, and our Andrew said the music can affect you in whatever way you choose for it to be affected by it. Right? He said you can love this low vibrational music as long as you don't use it as a recipe for your life. If you're just enjoying it for exactly what it is, but not adopting it, not taking it on,
Right.
then that's okay. You can listen to anything you like. So.
Yeah, man.
Um, Now, this is weird. Gene Pitney, I don't even know if he's crossed over or not,
I'm not.
but I'm just looking, but I've got Gene Pitney here. April 5th, 2006, right? I'm like, have
Okay.
I got his higher self or is he crossed over? Gene Pitney just walked in at the side, right? We've got all
Woo.
these beautiful rockers, and now we've got a guy with a magnificent voice. Like,
Yes.
just I love Gene. My mum used to play Gene Pitney when I was a kid, and I loved his voice. And then he did an amazing song in the 80s with Mark Harmon, I think his name is, and their voices together just incredible. I've got goosebumps.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what are you dropping in for? He's here to put the melody amongst the madness.
Well, I'm honored.
Well, me too. I've got the big bopper just stepped in over there as well.
Oh, well, that's good because, Tupac and Biggie have been in the background too. I mean, we have representation. Wow. So the jazz greats too, I have channeled for a particular friend of mine who was among them. Dizzy Gillespie was a particular friend of his, and he's bringing in the jazz people, but Dizzy has to be one of my favorites as well.
Right. I think my dad liked Dizzy Gillespie. I can't remember that music myself, but I know my dad used to listen to a lot of jazz, and the two names that name sounds familiar, and I'm connecting it to my dad. So yeah. So I've got the Big Bopper, and then I've got Buddy Holly over there singing Peggy Sue. So we've got an interesting
All right.
all around. I wonder what it's like in heaven with all these guys
I
like
think
and
that's
gals.
why we're here today because, like I said, when I'm like, well, what are we going to talk about? Music, okay, now what? And
Yeah,
that the Righteous Brothers are in heaven as well, and it was
yeah,
that song, and it's just like there must be one hell of a band in heaven, and I hear in the background, like you would hear a tuning of instruments for an incredible orchestra.
yeah.
And
That's
everybody
what I'm hearing as
here
well.
too. And everybody here with me, I mean, it's crowded. If I turn around, there's way more than I just described, and it's a little overwhelming for me, but I feel like they're at attention and just paying attention and ready to join in with this, what we're hearing, this background music.
Yeah, I just got a message from Gene. He said in the coming years, music is going to get even more important. It's going to be the great escape for a lot of people. So he said choose your music wisely when you're using it as a form of escapism, right? So, he said when people use music for an escape, they're handing over their free will to that music, and that's one of the things we've touched on today is how do we handle the emotion that comes from the music? Being our Andrew said is that we choose the effects that the music has on us. And he's saying the same thing, I think. Choose your music wisely. Let that music be your uplifter, your joy, the thing that takes you into a happy place. It doesn't matter if it's the crash bang wallop stuff. If it takes you into a happy
Happy
place, then
place,
that's
right?
okay. Yeah, yeah.
So
He said, but don't let it be the thing that pulls you down, though. Let it be the thing that pulls you up. Yeah.
that's incredible because while he's speaking, Tupac and Biggie are stepping, kind of
Oh
coming
my
to the
God, I've
to
already visited with them this week.
this week. Yeah, they're like, "What up, Allie, sister?"
Yeah, oh my God. My daughter loves rap, and
Me
we
too.
watched the Biggie Smalls movie.
Yeah,
And the next night, both Tupac and Biggie just walked into the lounge. I'm like, Claire, Claire, Biggie, it's
yeah,
Biggie. And
it's
she's like,
crazy,
oh, Mom,
isn't
I
it?
don't even know what to say to him.
Well, what they're talking about, they want to also um, build on what Gene was saying because they're like, man, our music, we channeled the anger and the angst because we had nothing. We channeled that into our music, and that was good. We were gangsters. We'd have shot somebody just as soon as look at them, and we held no regard for life. And because of the law of attraction, we're over here and y'all are over there, right? So when
Exactly.
our people, our listeners, our angry young men got a hold of this music, they can either say, well, shit, I don't want my mama to be missing me, either in prison or dead. And I'm
Yeah,
going to make this a fucking better place because I don't care. Nobody's going to hold me back. You can use that music. And Tupac's got his, sorry, kerchief on. Sorry. He just laughed at me. I know it's a girl word. Head wrap. I don't know. But he's so sweet. And Tupac is, and if you listen to it, the words and the music, incredibly intelligent. You still are incredibly intelligent, and the words really had a whole lot of meaning. He says, but like you just said, so many just took it and lived it rather than taking it and learning from it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
My daughter asked the question. Well, she said there was no need for those two guys to die, and Biggie said, well, there was a purpose to it. It was to teach people a lesson. You know, because I don't think that was there some conspiracy that Biggie shot Tupac? Well, it didn't feel like he was anywhere near it to me,
Yeah.
but enough people thought that he did for him to end up being shot because of it, as I understand it. So he said that's what his answer to my daughter was at the time, was that it was necessary for those people who would cause that to experience, you know, taking a life unnecessarily. He said there's never a reason for taking a life anyway, but they needed to learn that.
That's right.
Yeah.
And they served their purpose while they were here. Their biggest purpose was their exit because of their fame.
Yeah.
Yeah, in a sense.
I is somebody joking about the mafia and Dean Martin and that and Biggie Smalls and
Yeah.
Tupac and right? That's what I'm getting, little stuff from the gallery, the peanut gallery over here.
And they're all giggling though. They're laughing about it. Oh my gosh. Frank just steps up and he goes, those bums weren't gangsters. I know gangsters, sister. You want to see gangster? You talk to my friends.
Yeah.
So then it's a joke. It must be a running joke between them.
Oh yeah.
Too funny.
I think so. Oh my gosh, how fun. What fun. Right.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. So I'm asking what is music like in heaven?
Right. Yep.
And my entire body is, I don't think my butt's on the chair. I am electric.
All my chakras are tingling. All of
Everything. Everything's tingling. And who wants to say it first? Who wants to talk? Because you're all talking at once and I'm old. I don't remember everything. Eric's laughing at me. He's like, I'll take over from here. And he's holding my hand and he looks at me right in the eyes and he goes, you know that energy you feel right now? You know, you hear music and, you know, you feel it and it moves you on earth and it's a beautiful thing. But in heaven, it's a fucking mind-blowing experience is the best way I can put it. I can't even describe it. And the best way that I can humanly say is that you absorb the music into your energy field and you feel it to your very soul. And it's the most beautiful, uplifting thing. And the feeling is undescribable.
Yep.
He's just
Is he giving you a feeling of it then?
He is, and it's crazy. It's so crazy.
Right.
Yeah, it's the feeling of the music. And what they're talking about too, Allie, because Tupac's going to come up. Because earlier you talked about the different ways that people take music in and how it's going to get to a new level very
Yep.
soon. Well, he's saying, you're right, music's going to be incorporated into healing. You're going to have mixed centers that are vibrational healing and with medical healing at first. And we have, of course, all the 932 megahertz and all of that. But to each and every soul, for what they resonate with, they're going to be able to get to that soul and get the sound healing. You get the drum,
Right.
you get the tuning forks or whatever it is. So,
Mm.
Allie, you're dead on with that. And he says,
Right.
and rap music is kind of that way when you think about it, because it's all uh 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 uh. Is he
Mm.
really sitting next to me and rapping?
It's good, isn't it?
He's doing like this with me now, because I'm like, I can't rap. I'm a white girl. You know what? He's laughing. He goes, "You too. You can too." When my kids were
Yep.
little, I said, "What's this rap music?" I can rap. Shit, motherfucker, fucker. Shit, motherfucker, fucker, bitch. Right? And they
That's
would laugh. They're like, "Oh, mom, you're so dumb."
yeah.
And he's laughing, but that's the coolest thing. So what he's talking about is the beat. When you get lost in the beat, that can be healing, and there's gonna be a day when we find a way to harness that for each and every person
Yeah.
to affect
Yeah.
healing with music.
That's perfect. Am I right in thinking that they are going to, or the guides and spirit teams are going to target their incarnations? It just came into it with vibration, might not be music, but with vibration. Are they deliberately sending vibrations to their incarnations to try and help raise them up above this sort of negative buzz that's on this planet?
Absolutely, and that's always the goal of your soul when you come back, is to move forward a little, and hopefully you haven't done fucked it all the hell up and have to live the same lesson all over again, really.
Yeah. That's an interesting question to ask all the rockers that you've got there. I mean, these guys as well. Is do the now they're in that back in the higher self? Does the higher self want to revisit anything that they have done in this life to try and get a different outcome?
Um, given that time and everything happens at the same time, we have affected a different outcome right now at the same time. But having said that, and for your human perspective, um, there's certain things that we come back to enjoy. And rather than fight as we did in a previous lifetime and go against the flow, we enjoy it rather than fight it. So it's not
Yeah.
so much that we have to go back to learn the lesson again on certain things, but rather get to enjoy the polar opposite.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's nice to know. Yeah, I know that this drives me nuts. It's all happening now. It's all happening once. All futures are out there, right? So, the free will crowd, everything's manifested. Yes, but it had to be there in thought before it can be manifested. It already existed.
That's right.
So I've got this battle of free will and determinism in my head every single day. It drives me crackers.
Do you know Eric gave me the greatest vision or the greatest interpretation for me to comprehend the fact that everything goes on at the same time? So I'm sitting in the living room, and I don't know, how your mind goes off and you start to channel, and it's kind of like you drool and you don't even realize it, but you're just doing it. Well, he's sitting next to me and he holds my hand, and what I see is, and it almost looks like if you had filmed something and then filmed something on top of it, and when you play it on the screen, you can see both films at the same time, both stories happening at the same time. So I could see the people like I see him in here and acting scenes, and within that scene and all around me there are people with other scenes all at the same frickin' time, and then I looked up And he's looking at me like he's like, fucking crazy, isn't it? Right? And I looked up and there are scenes like this. So for him to give me this mental picture, it's like all these, this one film, which be everything that we choose, right? With other films superimposed on it. So when you play the final thing, it's all at the same time.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I get that. The one I was thinking of is like we're in different parts of the world, so we're on different time zones.
Oh, right.
So even though it's yesterday for you, it's still today for you.
Yeah.
And it's today for me. So we're both in each other's time zone, yet we're both not, right?
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
take that even further out to say like a supernova exploding 100,000 light years away, right? It only when it comes into our experience is it happening. So it's happening now, yet it's already happened 100,000 light years ago, right? So I kind of that's how I'm starting to understand.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
It's just, and when we're mediums and we work and we do so much, a lot of times we forget to take time to expand for ourselves, and people don't realize it. We have access to all this, but there's a lot of things you got to learn on your own. And just these
absolutely.
questions, and you do get the answers. That's a good way of putting it, is what Eric said. He likes that. He likes how you perceive that.
Right, good. I kind of
Yes.
figured it just having a visual of it like that, where it's actual, you can actually see it happening in this third dimension was what I was looking for. So that's kind of now how I try and understand it.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Our Andy's, what are you doing? He's coming back in. He's blowing
Good.
kisses. He said, everybody's going now. Really?
What? There's a party and we're not invited?
We're not
Whoa.
invited. Yeah.
Andy, my feelings are hurt. Andy, I
I
thought
know.
you liked me.
Frank, Frank Sinatra leaning over my bench with a cigarette in his house, swooning at me, crooning at me, or whatever you call it. Yeah. What's he saying? Don't let him roll you, baby. What does that mean?
Yeah, roll you to the side. Don't let him roll you
Right.
to the side. Andy,
Right.
come
Okay.
back.
Right.
Oh,
Okay.
some of my favorite music, Frank. Yeah.
Yeah. I I like. I like the Sex. Actually, the Sex Pistols brought one of his songs into my awareness that I don't think I heard until the Sex Pistols did it, right? And that's when I found out that it wasn't their song; it was his song. He's like,
Yeah. Yeah. I bet it sounded a little different when the Sex Pistols did it.
a lot different, yeah.
Oh gosh. Sid, yes, Sid just winks. You bet
Yeah,
your sweet ass that it was different. He says,
yeah,
in his little accent there. I don't do good with those accents, but you bet your sweet ass it was different. But he's
yeah.
got the hair, and he still presents himself, but he's a more peaceful version of himself.
He is now.
Yeah.
Ask him why. Well, because he's not in a human skin anymore, of course.
Yeah. Right. Bingo.
It's like it's like wearing a jock strap around your soul.
Being
That's
human, just
exactly what
like
it
wearing
is.
a jock strap around your soul. I think I need to write that down because that is classic. Oh my goodness. That's too
Right.
funny.
It is funny.
Holy crap.
Are we going to publish this?
It's up to you.
I
Oh,
think it
I
was good
think
enough
it
to
would be a
publish.
great thing to do. It
Yeah.
was so
Yeah.
much fun, and Dizzy just came over to give me a kiss on the hand and tell us that he's supporting us, and that what he wanted to say was, as a poor child, and a poor black child that didn't have much growing up, music was his everything, and he would really like, and he really does, works with the children in the poor sections, and he says that not only black but poor children that have no access or have an inclination, I'm there with them. And I just want them all to know that you can channel that and be somebody. You don't have to live that life.
That's beautiful. I've got this beautiful image of him on stage. I'm looking up at him, and there's a spotlight on him, and it's kind of smoky, and his shirt's a little bit Larry. It's a little bit of a Larry shirt. Did he play saxophone? Because I'm looking up through the smokiness. I can't
Trumpet.
remember. Yeah.
I believe he was trumpet or saxophone. He could have been. He says saxophone. I could play it
Right.
all. Yeah.
Right.
He could
Yeah.
play it
It,
all.
like I can't remember what he played, so from memory, but just looking up, it's all there, but it's all hidden behind the microphone.
But
So
yeah. So, have you heard of Luther Vandross?
I think I have actually. Yeah.
He was another beautiful R&B voice in the world, and he and Barry White, and he's just, I couldn't put my finger on who it was at first. Um, and they're all just kind of lined up, and he's all like, me and Barry are on the side of love. You can
Right.
use music to encourage love and happiness. Not only make a baby love, but love between your brothers, your sisters, your neighbors.
Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful.
I know that's beautiful. And they're all just kind of sitting back now. But I imagine they wanted to say something since they were here, and might as well.
I'm getting combinations. When you speak about somebody, I see them in my third eye. But then I've got the guys that are physically here visiting me. So there's so much going on psychically.
It's
right
hard to
now.
pay attention sometimes,
It
isn't
is.
it?
That's if you see me looking around, it's because different ones are doing different
I,
things.
I hear you. I hear you. Eric tells me, you're old, you forget, because I'll be channeling and all of a sudden, and I'm like, dude, I have like 4 conversations going on in my head. I'm still human. I can only pay attention to one.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. You can. Yeah. So, but
Buddy was
buddy.
quite intelligent.
Yeah. I've never had a conversation with him. I've met him a few times. He came in when we did the Elvis interview with Mimi, but all he did was sit there. It was kind of supporting, and now all he wants to do is sing. So, so I don't
That's
think he's
okay.
right bothered about being interviewed. But I mean, I'm sure somebody will interview him. But
He's just a
he
part of the
seems to,
band showing
yeah,
up.
he's part of, yeah, just part of the ones that sit back and let everybody else do the talking. Yeah, so that's awesome.
Yep. Okay, my guys are kind of silent.
Yeah, so am I. I think we're done. We've been chatting for what, a good hour.
That's,
So
oh my goodness. How cool is it that we can sit and chat with these energies? And
I love
everybody
it.
else can, they just don't know it. It's like,
I know. Look what you're
hello?
missing out on, guys, by not
Why not?
opening yourself up. Right? You know, you've got access to all these wonderful spirits.
Stinking self doubt and that
Yep.
conditioning to not know, well,
Yep.
we'll do it.